I want to remind everybody that may not know how the origin of hip-hop was started.
I'm not going to hold you up. I'm not going to talk you to death. The question is simple. Did Latinos and other cultures play a role in the development in the culture of hip-hop? Leave me a comment. And while you think about that, let me show you what KRS-One said about it. Let me show you what Lord Jamar said about that. And then I also want to give you another rapper who has his own opinion about the matter. All right, talk to you later. Hey, subscribe, stop playing.
Some Latino scholar should do a book on this. When hip hop first started, it was blacks and Latinos. At the beginning, when it started, as a matter of fact, it was that energy. We was already here, slaves in America, getting free. Then Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, Cubans started coming into New York. It started from the 30s, from the 20s. We linked up. We started teaching you guys English. You started teaching us Spanish. Some of the foods that we forgot about, some of the ancient techniques we forgot about, the Latino community brought it back fresh from the Caribbean. Black people got educated. And take a guy like Alphonse Schomburg. In New York, he's a Puerto Rican in the 1920s, a scholar who brought back black knowledge. Let me say it slow again. Damn. This is a Puerto Rican scholar, Alphonse Schomburg. This dude, first of all, he has a center in Harlem on 135th Street. You should go visit it. It's part of the Library Association, the Alphonse Schomburg Center for Black Studies. This is where you drop the Jew. He ain't black like that. Or is he really? Because some black people ain't even black. He's blacker than some blacks on the same block. Why? Because they denying the history right up the block. Right up in Columbia. Right there, NYU, they denying the history. But a Puerto Rican came and restored black history and put his center in Harlem. Then we have to talk about Ruby D, MC Ruby D. In the early days, there was a rhyme. He said, "I'm MC Ruby D, a Puerto Rican. You might think I'm black by the way that I'm speaking." Everybody knew that rhyme. Everybody. You wasn't hip hop unless you knew that rhyme. Romantic Fantastic Five. So the Latino, I can go on and on. The Latino connection is really strong, but it's again the corporate that wants to make you think that rap is just about black males doing poetry, and it was never about that from the beginning. Let me even take it further. It was a breath of fresh air when punk came back.
Hip-hop is a foundational black American creation. It's a positive creation that has changed the world. Instead of saying, hey, it's foundational black Americans who created this culture, the narrative, well, Jamaicans helped do it too. Puerto Ricans helped do it too. Now they're saying Italians helped create some goddamn hip hop. You know what I'm saying? So instead of just giving us the credit, everybody has to kind of pick off of it and kind of vulture credit for themselves instead of giving.
Used to try to act like you can override them. You know what I mean? I got niggas 2-3 years older than me talking about, you were not old enough to know what was going on. You weren't there. Shut the f up. Who cares? Who cares if I was there or not? Now, when I look at the DNA of hip hop, when I look at the double helix of hip hop, what I see is soul music, funk music. I see people that, parents that might have come up in the South who moved to the North, specifically the New York City area, and whose children came up in that post-Civil War, not Civil Rights, not Civil War, that post-Civil Rights era with that Northern attitude, that was like, motherfucker, I wish I was around during slavery times. I wouldn't have let motherfuckers with me. Like when Roots came out when we was young, niggas was like, I wish a nigga would. That's the energy that birthed hip hop. Those kids that watched Roots and all that type of shit. That's the energy that birthed hip hop, bro. And that's the DNA you see all in hip hop. And so we hear it musically with the type of samples that we choose or chose to play at that time, with the break beats that we chose at the time. But we also hear it in the language, okay? We see the DNA of the 5% nation very much inside of hip hop, with terms like peace and cipher and God and son and but nowhere do you see the DNA of Puerto Rican culture. Puerto Rican culture. I'm not talking about Puerto Rican individuals. I'm talking about Puerto Rican culture. Jamaican culture. Those things did not influence hip hop, regardless of how official motherfuckers sound saying it. I'm sorry. I hate to hurt your heart that the thing that you adore and love is something that Black American youth created. I'm sorry.
What do you think about the story of KRS versus Lord Jamar and how Puerto Ricans and Jamaicans influenced hip hop?
Yeah, I guess both of them kind of got a point or whatever. But I feel like, and you think about the music, it's always about the music. Now, when you go back and you look at the music, of the bands, the instruments, and the real singers, you had the background singers. It was more of a soulful, you know what I'm saying, feeling. Just like nature, you know what I'm saying, connects with you. Now, it's different because of the producers are the main characters and the music. They going back and sampling the old music, but anything else is dead on the boards.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Beat machines, they're taking away from the natural core of the music. But I'm sure, like in the Bronx, like where he's speaking on, definitely everybody that was around is probably a connection of all things. But they said James Brown, all these other people had the music. The music the first thing.
Right.
Because it was the DJs, like now the rappers. But you had the R&B singers that was spitting game in they lyrics, male or female. Now it's just a booth with the fucking producers and the rappers doing it and their new version of the shit.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So what's your take on it?
I feel like you said they're both right. I feel like Lord Jamar, I hear what he's saying in terms of the music. Fat Joe had an influence. He's saying like when it was created, they didn't have any, but I also see KRS-One side of it because I lived in Brownsville. It was a heavily Puerto Rican and Black populated area, but I went to a high school that had Haitians, Dominicans, Mexicans, everything. So I know that KRS-One is right too. They did influence the music.
The origin of hip hop was started by the power of Black and Puerto Rican people